What's going on, Hot Take Hockey viewers? It's me, Fitty Trent, for the Game 3 Washington Capitals and Vegas Golden Knights recap. And ladies and gentlemen, for Game 3, I couldn't do this solo. I was like, where's the rest of the guys? Where's the rest of the gang? And they absolutely needed to come on to this game because things are definitely getting interesting now. Washington Capitals versus the Vegas Golden Knights. Guys, you guys haven't been on any of these videos yet. Who are you cheering for? How have you liked the series? Let me know. We're starting off with Austin, start us off. What have you thought of this series so far? What are you thinking?
Well, thank you for the introduction, Trent. And you, like I told you earlier, you're a master of ceremonies. I definitely couldn't be the host of this Stanley Cup Final. Despite, them beating the Lightning, I especially with a case of Ovechkin, finally getting over the hump and the climbing over the hill. I like the Stanley Cup Final because I don't really hate either team. I don't mind who wins. If I had to choose, I would say the Capitals because I was rooting for them last year when the Lightning weren't even in the playoffs. So it was cool to see history being made with the Vegas Golden Knights winning. I would be okay with seeing with that. But I actually am leaning a little more towards the Capitals, and they clearly played tonight like they want to win this series. Tonight was an amazing game. I was just telling you, 3 people, like Game 3, we need more people. The series is getting more intense because the series was tied. Well, before tonight's game started, it was tied game, and I think me and John came at the right moment because now with the series being tied, it's starting to get really more intense, and tonight was no different. I was excited for tonight. And now that the Capitals have taken the lead, this could be very interesting. John, what do you have to say about this so far?
I agree, Austin. It's 2 teams that definitely have to show a little redemption. Washington, obviously, no cup. And their franchise, I think looking at the last 2 years of Pittsburgh winning the cup, I think everyone's kind of put Ovechkin to the side. Crosby with 3 cups, Ovechkin with none. I think it's kind of been oversaid that I think Crosby's the ultimate player, and I think I would obviously agree. But Ovechkin coming into this playoffs and becoming more of a leader. He's already been the captain for a few years, obviously, but I think he's more of a leader than he's ever been. I like this team a lot. I think I liked them more last year on paper, but like we've seen a lot in the NHL, much more than we see in NBA, on paper is not everything. There's a lot more to this game. So I love the expansion team. I think it's a great story. I think it's a great story for media, but I think I have to go on also on the Washington side. I think before even seeing them win this last 2 games, after the first game with 10 goals, I think go watch that recap of Fitty Trent. He was hyped, but I think definitely want to see Washington win, or at least 6, but I think Washington to win it. I think I would like to see. And then, I think Fitty Trent's going to go over the summary, and then I want to talk a little bit about this game tonight because it was definitely interesting. Shots were low, but we saw a lot more control from the Caps. And, Fitty, try and kick us off with our goal summary. I want to hear what you got to say about what was going down tonight.
I didn't get to catch a lot of the first period, to be completely fair. I was at work. I caught, the last 10 minutes. But overall, we keep on talking about Ovechkin. Ovechkin had a glorious chance. His first shift on the ice. He comes in, cross-crease pass, gets just enough on it, but just misses the net, just barely, not enough to being a goal. Next thing you know, Washington, they end up scoring the first goal of the game. That's right, Washington takes a 1-0 lead, but no, it's a no goal. And when I first saw the goal, I'm like, what? Why is it not being a no goal? And then I saw Devontae Smith-Pelly basically just running immediately right over like a freight train over Marc-Andre Fleury, catching him in the face, knocking him down to the ice. Honestly, if he didn't do that, I think the goal would have counted anyway. It would have been a goal. But because he just ran basically right into Fleury, they had to call it no goal whatsoever. This is when I actually started to get to sit down and watch the game just coming home from work. And Vegas actually started pouring on the pressure a little bit. I started getting a little bit nervous with the Washington Capitals because Jonathan Marchessault, he had a very good shot, and it went right off the base of the post immediately. It made such a strange sound, a sound that I rarely even hear. It wasn't like a ding. It was more like a boom, and it was just so solid that I was thinking, oh my gosh, Vegas, they mean business here. Second period starts, and Alexander Ovechkin, the grade 8, he scores an absolutely beauty, assisted by Carlson and Kuznetsov. At that point, Washington is all hyped up. The crowd's back into it. Everyone's excited. Then a little bit of a scary moment as Brooks Orpik, he gets the wind knocked out of him with a collision with James the Real Deal Neal. He's knocked down. He seems to be a little bit slow getting up, but he's able to regain his composure, end up getting the air back into his lungs enough to start yelling and ripping into pieces over the ref, saying that it should have been a hit to the head. Honestly, I don't think it was much of a hit to the head. It was just kind of, you know, a hit that just kind of knocks the wind out of you. Then Eric Halla, he takes a hooking penalty. Then Oshie tips the puck off the post immediately, like 2 seconds into the power play. He has a glorious opportunity, a beautiful little tip in between his legs, like Brett Connolly did back in game 1. But no, it goes off the post. Still just a 1-0 game. And then Marc-Andre Fleury does what he does best, flashes that leather against Alexander Ovechkin during that power play to keep it a 1-goal game. But it's not a 1-goal game for long, as Evgeny Kuznetsov comes in and scores a beauty, assisted by Jay Beagle, the modern-day Manny Malhotra, and TJ Oshie. A very nice little 1-2 right there. And then Marc-Andre Fleury, what does he do again? He flashes the leather on Tom Wilson this time. Just kept on flashing that leather left, right, and center. Then next, you know, Smith Pelly, he takes a penalty, tripping. At this point, my parents are yelling at Smith Pelly saying, bench him. He's doing nothing for the Washington Capitals. But I said, don't worry. He's been good for the playoffs. Just give him another few moments. He might be a little shine, but they're saying, no, bench him. He's not good. Then Holtby does an amazing stop against Marchessault on the one-timer during that power play. Marc-Andre Fleury ends up taking a tripping call, and he trips Matt Niskanen on like the breakaway. And honestly, it's Matt Niskanen. You shouldn't be tripping Matt Niskanen on the breakaway. He's not going to harm you at all. Matt Niskanen's like that perfect like 6th defenseman. He's not going to do anything on you. But nevertheless, we go into that third period. TJ Oshie once again hits the post, and then Thomas Nosek scores, assisted by Bellemare. But honestly, the main assist, and I know that this is the big play that John's been talking about, the main assist goes to Braden Holtby. He has the puck behind the net. He looks like he has a perfect opportunity just ringing it around the boards, but instead passes it up to the middle, gets a little bit tipped by Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, goes to Nosek, who has an empty net, and just throws it in very easily. At this point, I'm getting a little bit nervous for the Washington Capitals. Lucas Sbisa, he ends up heading down to the dressing room. Not gone for long, though, as he immediately comes back. And then Devontae Smith-Pelly. I told you he'd be back, baby. He comes in with a beautiful little curve move and a snipe on Marc-Andre Fleury, assisted by Jay Beagle. That's right, the modern-day Manny Malhotra, to make it a 3-1 game. And at this point, basically, it's just back and forth. Vegas keep on trying to enter the zone, but Washington is keeping able to end up not allowing them into the zone, not allowing them to get any more good chances. And Washington, I can't believe I'm saying this, takes a 2-1 series lead over Vegas. This is the first time that Vegas has been down in a series since they were down 1-0 against the Winnipeg Jets. This is their biggest down that they have been for a long, long time in their entire franchise history career. And honestly, I'm super excited for the Washington Capitals. This was an absolutely incredible game. And guys, just this game alone, what were your thoughts on this game? Austin, we'll start with you. I know that you're super hyped to talk us about this game specifically.
Yeah, this game was, I mean, I have my Vegas Golden Knights shirt. What I'm doing is I'm switching off like game, because they have home ice advantage. I'm wearing game 1 Vegas. Game 2, I wore the Capitals shirt. And tonight, Vegas, so vice versa. So game 4 and game 6 will be Capitals, and, you know, game 5 and game 7, if necessary. Well, game 5 is necessary, will be Vegas. But I'm impressed with what the Capitals did with their defense tonight. All 4 lines and all 3 defense lines, just to only give the Golden Knights 13 shots on goal through 2 periods after they had 38 shots on goal the last game, it really impressed me that's – I mean, they won game 2, and I'm not saying the Capitals didn't deserve it. They did. But to shut down the offense as much as they did tonight was amazing. I mean, the Vegas Golden Knights, I'm not saying they didn't do a good job defensively. I mean, only 26 shots on goal for Capitals. It wasn't that much of a difference. But to only give a team like Vegas only 22 shots on goal and only 13 through the first 2 periods really impressed me how well they defended tonight and were on attacking their forecheck on their whether it was in their offensive end or if they're or in their defensive zone. So that really impressed me tonight. And you know, for Vegas, that I was worried at first because that penalty that happened in the third period, it was the only one in the third period, 7.5 minutes in. That was like they thought like Derek Anglin tripped Backstrom, and it's like when you see the replay, he just tripped on his own player. So that was crazy. I mean, luckily it didn't cost Vegas because they did well the penalty kill, but it's crazy. I mean, it's gonna happen, but like a lot of like you thought this was a penalty and it doesn't happen, or why was that a penalty? It's it's going to happen all the time. It's playoffs, but the referees are doing their job, doing good. They're doing what they can. But overall tonight, I was extremely impressed with the Capitals' performance. Overall, they dominated so much of the stats. They didn't get a power play goal, but they killed off the 2 power plays Vegas had. They won 63% of the faceoffs. That's amazing to do, and especially in front of your home crowd. Just for hitting the body pretty well. They blocked 26 shots, and the Golden Knights only blocked 9. And it was only in the first period they right away in the first period blocked 15. That is a defensively committed team, and that is just amazing. The only concern was that they gave away the puck 21 times, so you got to be careful next time. It didn't bite you in the butt this time. But I will admit, their defense is a key factor in tonight's victory, and you see it in the stats. Just blocking 26 shots to 9 blows me away. It's just a great overall effort tonight from the Capitals. Great job taking the 2-1 series lead, and now you have the chance to do it again on front of your home ice to take it in a big command in this Stanley Cup Final. So we'll see what happens. John, what are your last thoughts on any players or any stats from either both teams? What do you have to say?
Hey, yeah, thanks, Austin, for that a little analysis. But I think I definitely am on you with that. I think obviously it's right on the sheet of paper. 26 to 21 shots. Defenses were here tonight, and I actually, if not many people know, I was at the Calder Cup Game 1 today, Toronto Marlies versus Texas Stars, and I think that game was 6-5. I saw a lot more of a defensive sound game in this game, 3-1, and like a much more sound game from the Capitals. I think, especially sometimes when I was watching that second period, the Capitals were making that Vegas look more like an expansion team. Obviously, we're not even calling them that anymore. We're not calling them underdogs anymore. But some parts in this game, when you're saying it yourself, Austin, when they were only held to 13 shots, Washington was looking like the big boys, and they were holding Vegas to little to nothing. So the only goal that Vegas scores, and Finney Trent said himself, was a goal that Holtby handed it to them. Just to say it bluntly, such a garbage goal. Washington, 3 really nice goals. Nothing Fleury could do about it. 26 shots, and anyone could say, 3 goals, 26 shots, it's pretty garbage. But all 3 goals, you look at the first goal, Ovi, big scramble. Fleury makes the first 2 or 3 saves. Ovi has to die for it. Fleury almost gets to it. The second goal, straight 2-on-1. Kuzi with his little, what do we call it? The bird, we call it whatever. I actually call it
flapping his wings is what I call it.
I call it the flamingo only because he lifts the leg, but you could call it whatever. But so that was a 2-on-1, and then the Smith Pelly goal, which I have to give a lot of credit to Smith Pelly, not just because he scored the goal. If you look, 10 seconds before the goal, he was the one that made the play on the half boards, and that was a lot of the problems, especially in Game 1 with the Capitals. That's Vegas' speed. We're getting them a lot in Game 1, 6 goals against. You have to appreciate plays like that. Smith Pelly on the half boards, and he gets rewarded after the corner play for Vegas doesn't go the right way. He gets the puck all alone in front, and like Finney Trent said, boom, little toe drag snipe. So I think if you just look at the quality of play from the Capitals, they made Vegas look a little silly at times. Like you said, Austin, the shots weren't high, but I don't think stats in that way are everything. I think just the comparison between the two teams tonight. I think Vegas, and if it's going to be like this, I think Vegas has come this far. I think the management, like McClellan, I think they look at it as we've got this far. We got to win this year. We don't want to go next year and have the fact that teams are maybe figuring us out, that we're speed, that we're energy, that we're kind of just an evened out team, that everyone's just kind of contributing. I think Washington with their superstars tonight figured that out, and players like Smith Pelly, and I know he's the guy that scored the goal, and I'm giving him credit for that, but I think plays like that and opportunities like that and giving yourselves opportunity, and you said the Oshie, not only the break, but the tip was quite smart from the John Carlson shot. Both, how many posts were there? At least 2 or 3 from the Caps, which can we confirm? Posts.
Yeah, the Capitals hit 2 posts. The Golden Knights hit a couple of posts too. There was a lot of those tonight. Austin,
just to remind you, posts don't count as shots. So
I know.
There was a couple bars. There was a couple bars from Washington as well. I think shots aren't everything, but we also have to look at Washington and Vegas's D comparison as well. I know I'm just kind of going in depth right now, but John Carlson, like the guy for Washington, wasn't even the leading ice time. I think it was Niskanen and Orlov. And then Vegas, you look, and we agree, paper isn't everything, but I think when you have an Englund and like McNabb versus the offensive threats and Orlov versus Carlson, I think it comes into play big time. And I think it was only a matter of time. I think that first game, 6-4, there was a lot of energy coming out in game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. I wouldn't be surprised, especially with Fleury and Holtby both on their games right now. I wouldn't be surprised if the rest, whether it's 2 games left, 3 games left, 4 games left, I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to keep seeing 2-1 or 3-1 games. So that's my little spiel. But I think the Washington Capitals deserve this game. I think it should have just been a 3 or 4-0 win. Like I said, Holtby basically handed them that goal. Well, not, I shouldn't say basically. He literally passed it to him. So no sick. That was probably the easiest goal he's ever going to get in his career. And yeah, that's my little spiel. Fitty's trying to want to end this video with a little bang. What do you got? What do you predictions maybe for the next? I think Vegas is going to bounce back. I think Vegas is going to bring this to 6, but I still have Capitals in at least 6, maybe 7.
I agree with what you were saying. Just want to quickly note, John, it's amazing how Capitals allow 6 goals in the first game, and now they've only allowed half of that over the course of the last 2 games. So they definitely have done a better job defensively. Sorry, Trent, you go ahead now. Sorry.
No, that's all good there, Austin. We're all friends here. We're all buddies. I completely agree with what everyone's saying. As they basically said, and what I'm just summing up, it was the Washington Capitals game to win tonight. They immediately came out with a huge bang. And honestly, that's what I said that they needed to do. If you guys not get to catch game 2, my, prediction.
Defense!
Yeah, exactly. If you guys didn't catch that, I said Washington would have to come out and perform in a big way. They'd have to do a big game. They have to do something big immediately. And Ovechkin did it. He had a very good chance immediately. As soon as the puck was dropped, he had a great opportunity. For Washington to keep on excelling at this, they need to keep that up. If Vegas wants to win the next game, they need to be able to silence that crowd. They need to be able to do exactly what Washington did tonight. They need to be the team that steps up in a big way. They need to be the team that gets that big first play, whether it's a big save, a big hit, even maybe just a really nice shot. No matter what it is, you guys need to do something big to silence that Washington Capitals crowd because, they may not have been as pumping as, the Vegas Golden Knights crowd, but there were times where they definitely were throwing off the Vegas Golden Knights. I saw this was probably the worst game personally that I've seen the Vegas Golden Knights play in a long, long time. They looked like they were scrambling a couple times here and there. Yes, they still had their good opportunities, but overall, they looked a little bit sloppy at times because they were a little bit thrown off by the crowd. You're not at home ice anymore for the next game. So you guys just need to focus and you need to play your game. We got 1,000 comments, and I'm not even kidding. We got like a billion comments here.
We got so many.
We have so many. So we had to go through them because there are loyal fans, and we love them all. The legend, Vanilla Billy, says, Austin. He's psyched. He's psyched that Austin.
Well, that's the first positive comment I've seen him give me.
It was 2 Austin. He gave you 2 Austins. That's more than he's ever given you.
Exactly.
But then he said Braden Point is trash again.
Sepen Tharib said, and if you guys don't know what that means in Russian, it means what account is this? It is Hot Take Hockey, the best NHL channel in the world.
Good job, Trent.
Did you actually take the time to Google Translate that?
You better believe I did there, John. I know that this guy is loyal. I've seen him in the live stream before. He's a good fan. I love him. He's my #1 fan from Russia. I love you.
We got a shout out to Lee Dinatale. The boys are back. Thank you, Rusty Bucket saying boo.
Thank you for saying boo.
Well, that's what Rusty Bucket said. And then we have Akuma's Deception. He's a Leafs fan. He gave us a couple of comments. Point is really good.
Love the guy.
Point is really good. He's a top-line center on most teams. Akuma's also said Caps are the first team to visibly frustrate the Knights. Their physicality is throwing Vegas off their game. I agree.
100%.
100%. Absolutely. Dude, Akuma's Deception. He's like one of our #1 fans.
I know it for a fact. Plus random stuff. Wow, this account has come a long way. I was subbed around 100 subs. Look at that guy. That guy was an OG.
They have. Well, Rusty Bucket's really giving us credit. Thank you, Rusty.
And Bodo's saying he's mad. No matter what,
if
win, I can only come in seconds.
That's not true. That's not true, Bodo. If you got the exact goal number right, you can still win that jersey. I know you can do it, Bodo.
I can't wait to – I hope I'm right. I said 37 goals we're going to score. in this plus finals. So far, we've got how many? We've got 10, and then we had 15, and then we got 19. So we have 19 already through 3 games.
And Rob Iman, if Caps win Game 4, it's curtains. You agree?
I don't know about that. They're going back to Vegas. I think Vegas is.
I mean, I know it's a 3-1 series lead if it happens, but I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. If the Caps win next game, which I see like very, very possible, I think it goes back to Vegas. I don't think it's over. I think Vegas would win there, and then I think maybe Game 6 in Washington is then it's. I don't know. That's what I'm calling, but Austin, Austin's on my book. Fitty Trent still believes in Vegas.
I believe in Vegas. I think Vegas.
I believe in Vegas too. I mean, I want those Capitals to win, but it's like if anyone's thinking, oh, there's no way Vegas can tie the series now, like I wouldn't be so sure. I
have doubted Vegas all playoffs, and they just keep. Literally, I kept saying the other team rather than Vegas, and Vegas just kept winning. So
I say that if Washington, I mean, I know it's because Bodo said this. Washington wins at home Game 6. I mean, I know they won the Eastern Conference Trophy in Tampa's ice, and I mean, no one really matters if you win a home ice or on the road, the Eastern or Western Conference Trophy. But I feel like maybe it would be nice if the Capitals, if they are going to win the Cup, if they do it on their home ice in Game 6. But we'll see what happens.
Austin, quick, right at you. Conn Smythe leaders right now.
Conn Smythe leaders, if you're talking about the Capitals, it's either Ovechkin or Kuznetsov, and maybe Hopi. I'll give a third one. And if you're talking about the 3 players. But if you're talking about, I'm talking about both teams. And if you're talking about the Vegas Golden Knights, if they win the Cup, number 1 is Marc-Andre Fleury, number 2 is Jonathan Marchessault, and number 3 is William Karlsson.
Even though I'm not a fan of him, I would say Kuznetsov right now. But we also have to look. Ovechkin has 14 goals in the playoffs, which is just insane.
He did it in every series. I saw it all the time in the Lightning. He wanted to hit the body as much as he can. He wants this Cup. He was knocking people down. He was not just scoring.
I wouldn't be surprised if Ovechkin got it, but as much as Holtby isn't great, I think it's between Kuznetsov and Ovechkin if they win it. And then I think if Vegas wins it, I think there would be a riot if Fleury didn't win it. I think it's just
Fleury doesn't win it, it's over.
He's
leaving Vegas.
I have to give 3 people, but I mean overall, if you're asking the number 1 overall pick for Vegas,
the number 1 overall pick of Austin's 2018 NHL draft.
Conn Smythe, it's for Vegas, it's Fleury. Lee Dinatale says, talk about the coaches maybe. Trotz and Lott. Well, this is the last year of Trotz's contract. And I feel like he'll get an extension.
I will say Vegas has got to work better on matchups next game because Washington was just messing. Like I don't want to say messing with them, but I mean
they weren't doing the right matchups against the good because I mean clearly they weren't. I mean they didn't get that many shots.
The one's going to win Coach of the Year.
Defense was all over.
He's got to come in next game and work better with matchups because like I was saying, I was using the example of defense versus defense, and obviously on paper and just looking tonight, Washington's defense are much more superior over Vegas's.
They were all over Vegas.
But then again, we've seen a lot of speed from Vegas, is both sides, forwards and D, and I think that's maybe where Vegas can beat them out because you look at guys like Nate Schmidt, Colin Miller. Those guys got a lot more speed on guys like Niskanen and Orpik. So
I feel like Nate
to their
Schmidt
advantage.
Yeah, sorry. I buffered out for a second.
Oh, no, I buffered out for it too.
But I think Nate Schmidt is their key. Besides Fleury, Schmidt is their key. Because I mean, it's not just because he's a player for a former Capitals last year.
That's what I'm saying. Washington's definitely bugged by the fact that he's on their team.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're playing Fleury again, which, I mean, still could be a curse. And I still think that would be the reason why Vegas comes back in the series. Fleury is still a curse to them. I can guarantee you it might happen.
I mean, he was the curse in 2017 when Murray was out. So, I mean, yeah.
All right, Fitty Trent, tell Hot Take Hockey fans what's coming up, the game coming up, who's coming on the video, and what we got to see for the next week or two.
Except just one quick second. I just want to look at the last couple of comments. Akuma's deception says Barry Trotz is management by the balls right now. Okay. Trotz deserves a 5-year contract. Staying Rob. That's what he said, though. Rob Bateman says Trotz
You don't read PG-13 comments. This is a children channel.
Sorry. Okay, well, Bodo predicts that Game 4 total score will be Vegas winning 3-2. Or no. I mean, I'm sorry. Caps win 3-2 game 4. Vegas wins 4-1 game 5.
Austin's 4
Caps wins.
We were about to finish off this video, and Austin's like, you know what? Got to get these comments in.
Sorry, no. I just want to make sure because you have a fan.
That's why the fans love
he's
you.
got a Maple Leafs logo. Akuma's Deception's a Leafs fan. I mean, especially because this is the last year of Trotz's contract. I feel like if they wouldn't have gotten as far as they have, like it's the conference final, that his contract would be really questionable. But now that they've gone even further, and then they got even further than that to go to the finals, I feel like Trotz will get a good extension to his contract because he's done great for this team this year.
Deception's apologizing for his comments. Love the guy.
Just a Trent, because you're the leader. What do you just your quick note about the two coaches, Gallant and
I 100% agree with what John said. I mean, Gallant, in my opinion, he did really well in games 1 and 2, but when lineups aren't working, then you got to shift it up. And Barry Trotz, I completely agree. He does deserve a contract extension. And speaking of contract extensions, give us an extension in your lives by subscribing to Hot Take Hockey, because
I see what you did there.
Because you know that we are the best NHL in the entire universe. You can't find anything better. It's NHL Network, NHL.com, Hot Take Hockey. You can't even see it. You can't even see it. They were that high up. So join us. Join us in this journey.
3 times the greatness.
Exactly, because we are the fans for the fans. In Game 4, you can expect this face all up in Game 4. You could probably expect those faces all up in Game 4. Possibly.
I'll be joining. I want to be here for the rest of the series. I missed out on 2 games on this show, and I'm ready to join back on the show. I'm ready.
Awesome.
He's ready.
I'll be wearing my Capitals shirt for Game 4.
John's down if his Wi-Fi isn't down, which is a big.
We'll try to get Mitch on the show. We'll try to get Mitch. We'll try to get AC. Somebody else. I would like to see Mitch back.
We'll try to get James Duthie on the show.
Absolutely. And if you want to see that happen, you need to subscribe, you need to like, and you need to comment down below, because I know you guys are all the GOAT, because on this video already 7 likes, 0 dislikes. That's why you guys are the best people. That's why I wake up every single morning with a smile on my face, being the happiest guy in the entire world. Ladies and gentlemen, this is absolutely incredible. Absolutely worth it, 100%. So subscribe to all of us here on Hot Take Hockey. From all of us, peace out, everybody.
Peace out.